Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, June 16th, 2017. Welcome to another eBay video on this cold June day. Guys, it is June 16th. You want to take a guess what the temperature is today? Well, how about if I show you? 66 degrees on June 16th. It's disgusting. As you can see, it's our normal cloudy day. We're going to have showers starting lunchtime on and off all day. Showers Saturday, showers Sunday, steady rain Monday into Tuesday, which is the weather we get year-round. Last week we did have a rare treat. We had a couple of sunny days and I enjoyed each and every one of them. They're gone. They're history. This week we're going to talk about some Seller Hub updates, some Amazon deception. We're going to talk about our sales and a bunch of other things that I think you guys will find interesting and hopefully helpful. First, we're going to talk about your comments from last week. I want to discuss some of them, read them, and in some case answer your questions right now, live on the air. For those of you guys who don't know me, by the way, my name is Joe DeMarco. I've been selling on eBay since 1999. I'm a top-rated seller plus with 100% feedback. And each week I come out here on Friday and I talk to you guys about the eBay news of the week. And I hope you guys find these videos helpful. In last week's video, the first comment I would like to talk about was made by Skinny Cow. And it had to do with the 30-day returns, which drew a lot of comments. Skinny Cow wrote, eBay has rules, 30-day returns. I don't accept returns that are 31 days old or more. Equally, PayPal accepts disputes up to 180 days from payment. Try to raise a dispute with PayPal at 181 days and they simply will refuse to do so. I don't see why honest eBay sellers are hounded for sticking to 30-day return rule, but big corporations like PayPal aren't hounded by sticking to their 180-day rules. What's good for the big companies is good for the little eBay seller. Also on 30-day returns, Dominic Battaglia wrote, Joe, it's a shame that there is still some disconnect with eBay and their own policies. They say you do not have to accept the return since it's over 30 days, while at the same time saying you can be penalized for not doing so. If you really think about it, they are really forcing you to have 60-day returns. Sure, it's in a back-ended way, but 30-day returns offer no real protection for the seller. I mostly sell low-priced clothing with very few returns, so 60-day returns hopefully won't affect me much. But for people like you and eBay Motors, this sounds like a nightmare. They really need to hire someone to keep the eBay universe consistent, a continuity person. Also on 30-day returns, Mr. Bing 70 wrote, Joe, eBay will remove the negative feedback. I've had similar circumstances where I was wrongfully negged. I call eBay after the neg is received, explain my situation to the trust and safety, and when you get the right person on the line, they will remove the neg. It's a matter of getting the right person on the phone. I would not accept the return, and if you get the negative feedback, call eBay and explain your issue with trust and safety, and it will get taken off. I really don't feel that a neg should be able to be left after the 30-day return policy. And in fact, shortly, a little later in this video, we're going to talk about eBay returns and when is the ideal period for eBay buyers and sellers to stop being able to leave feedback. Also on 30-day returns, Mercedes Lux wrote, Joe, your buyer's message concerning request for return after 30 days. Since eBay placed a sentence on that message stating you did not have to accept the request as the item is over the 30-day return policy, I feel eBay needs to revamp their wording such as, this item is over eBay's 30-day return policy. You are not required and do not have to accept the return of this item. However, please be informed if you Please be informed if buyer has not left feedback for you, the buyer will be able to leave feedback up to 60 days. That's not a bad idea under the current climate, because buyers are able to leave feedback for 60 days, which I think is too long. But again, we'll get to that a little later. On lowball offers, E. Dennis wrote this: I do have a question about how you respond to people who ask you what your best price is. I don't mind dealing with somebody who comes right out with a reasonable offer, but when they expect to put a price that's lower than my listing price, I'm at a loss. I can't read their mind. Do they want a 25% discount, 50%? And lately, no matter what I say, they fire back accusing me of being rude when I'm not. I like that question, and I've covered it many times in the past. When a person writes to me on a fixed priced item, let's say I have an item for $100, and he says to me, Joe, will you accept, let's say, $75? If I feel the offer is reasonable, and that sounds reasonable, I will simply write back, I have no problem working with you on the price, provided you're willing to buy the item today. If you're willing to buy the item today, let me know and I'll adjust the price for you. But in his case, what E. Dennis said was, what do you do when people write to you and say, what is the lowest you will go? Or what is the last price for this item? My advice, run as fast as you can, because those people are not serious buyers. I've said this before, guys. I would rather a guy offer me $20 on a $100 item than have one of these guys say, what is your best price? If a guy offers me a lowball offer such as $20 on a $100 item, I will say, I cannot go anywhere near that low. See if you can get it locally, that way you can save on shipping. Only two things will happen. Either the guy will go and leave, or the guy will respond back with a better offer. Okay? Funny story. I love telling you guys my real life stories because I think it really helps drive the point home. Last year I had a guy write to me and say, will you accept $60 for this item? The item was $100. Now I really wanted more money for the item, but it was a very slow day and I wasn't making any money and I was weak. I said to him, if I lower the price to $60 for you, will you buy the item today? He said, yes, I will. I lowered the price. He never bought the item. The next day, I raised the price back up to $100, and I put it out of my mind. Nothing happened for about 2 weeks, and the same guy comes back to me and says, okay, I'm ready to buy the item now. Lower the price like you said you would. I said, I'm not lowering anything. We had an agreement. I would lower the price to $60 if you would buy it that day, and you agreed to it. Now the price is back up to $100. In other words, he was not a man of his word. That guy wrote back to me and cursed me out like you wouldn't believe. He told me to stick the item. I won't tell you where, but I guess you guys can imagine. I mean, he was livid, absolutely livid, even though he's the one that backed out on the deal and didn't keep his word. Then about maybe 4 or 5 days after that, a stranger comes in and buys the item for the full asking price of $100. So in the end, it all worked out. I got full value for my item, and I taught that person a lesson. Always stick to your guns, guys. There's nothing wrong with lowering a price for a serious buyer. But if they promise to buy the item and then come back 2 weeks later and want that same deal, that ain't gonna fly with me. So E. Dennis, I hope that answers your question. Now here's an interesting comment from Charles M. Reinhardt regarding damaged items that are damaged by the buyer. I had a guy order a security chain sleeve that did not fit. My policy is 14-day money-back guarantee. It was well over the 14 days, and I told him to send it back, and I'll send the larger one. He said he can't return it. He damaged it trying to get it on the chain. So I sent him the larger sleeve for free. Never heard back from him and never received feedback, so I just blocked him from ever buying from me again. A piss poor customer indeed. Charles, in my opinion, you made a mistake. When a buyer contacts you and says he damaged an item or he lost an item, and he's contacting you through eBay, you are covered, because by eBay rules, he has to return the item to you in the original condition that it was sent. I had this happen to me last year, you may remember. The guy bought some items from me, didn't read the directions, tried to put them on his wheels, and he lost 2 of them right away. He wrote back to me all pissed off and said, I lost 2 of the items. No, first he left me a negative feedback before doing anything else, before even contacting me. Then he wrote back and said, I lost 2 items and I got pissed off and I threw the other 2 out. I want a refund right away. After he left me negative feedback, he opened a case, item not as described. Since he had nothing to send back to me, and eBay could clearly see this in the conversation, not only did he lose the case, but eBay removed the negative feedback. I am all for making a customer happy, but customers must return the item to you in the exact condition you sent it to them, okay? So, guy, next time you remember that. Global Shipping Program, Rick Mayer asked the question, good show as usual, Joe. Can you comment about what happens when a global buyer returns an item and claims not as described? Who pays the return shipping if it costs more than they paid for the item, but I only paid to ship it to Kentucky? By the way, I do not sell items not as described and never have had a return yet from a global shipping buyer. Any help from you or any other sellers would be helpful. Thanks, Rick. I have never had a return from the global shipping program, thankfully, same as you. But I have heard a few people who did, and it can be very costly. Because if you're paying shipping to Kentucky, maybe it's only $7 or $10. But shipping from Kentucky to the buyer's home country is going to be crazy money. Now, if he claims it's not as described, all right, you would be responsible to pay the shipping from his home country to Kentucky to you, which could be serious coin and even more than the value of the item. Should that happen, it's up to you to decide what to do and how to proceed. If the item is worth a lot of money, you may want to pay that money for the shipping back. But if it's one of these cheap $20 or $30 items, you may have to eat the loss and cut and run. That's up to you. I've never had a problem with global shipping, and I've been with it for about 4 years now. China sellers. D. Kelly wrote, seems China sellers are down to a minimum for center caps and hubcaps. This is a good thing, not only for us sellers, but for the companies that make the legit OEM parts. Excellent job, Joe. I had a return request for some center caps on May 8th. The guy claimed I sent him other than caps pictured, which was not true. Called eBay and they said request a picture of the parts he received, and I got no response. I actually sent him a partial refund offer of 75% off of the price. No response. Had to wait 30 days to close the return and get the funds released. Anyway, hope everyone has a great weekend and have some very good sales. D. Kelly, considering that you sent him exactly what you promised, and I'm sure you did, why would you offer him 75% back? I don't get that. I really don't. Me, I do take returns for 30 days. In the case I talked to you about last week, that guy waited about 41 days. I did accept the return. I still don't have the item back. Crazy, all right? But when you're right, you're right. And like I've said before, with parts, it's very difficult to deal with. And I agree with you, D. Kelly, that center caps are the biggest problem. They are terrible because people do not read the description. I had 3 people this week buy incorrect items on eBay, and 2 of the 3 called me. And of course, they were for center caps. One guy tells me, well, it says they're going to fit my car, but when I put them on, they're too small. I said to him, do you have your computer in front of you? He says, no, but I can get it. I said, all right, get your computer and call me right back. Calls me back a few minutes later. I said, please go to the listing of the item you just purchased from me. I said, read me the first line. And I'm reading along with him. Please note, these center caps come in two different sizes, a 6-inch and a 7-inch. This is the smaller of the two sizes. These are 6-inch. I said, now, it clearly says right there that these are the smaller 6-inch ones. And of course, the guy claims he didn't see it. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. But yeah, that was that. One last comment I will read, and then we will talk about the new topics of the week. This was written by somebody who's apparently a newer subscriber, David Brandon. I appreciate the videos and the information. The work you do for other eBay sellers and the fact that you're an eBay Motors seller, which is nice because I can at least relate, since eBay Radio is always housewives selling thrift store crap and there's rarely useful info there. I don't get the Fox News mug thing though. Bringing politics into this? Are you seriously a Republican in New York City? You seem too intelligent and common sense to be a Republican. David, the Fox News Cup has nothing to do with politics, okay? I realize you're new and probably don't know about this, so I'll give you a real quick explanation. I never talk about religion or politics on this channel. Those are two loser subjects, okay? This is the Fox News Cup, which I will drink out of now. This is very important to me. For those of you who don't know it, I was, and I'm still being stalked by a middle-aged man in Michigan. A person who was kicked off eBay for violating their policies. Years ago, this individual found my channel and started attacking me at once in every conceivable manner, including he would go onto my eBay listings, bid on several of my auctions, win them, not pay me, and leave me negative feedback just to hurt me. Not only was he bidding on my items and not paying and leaving me negative feedback, but he was documenting his actions and uploading videos to YouTube to rub it in my face because he didn't think I could find him. He didn't think anybody could locate him. But Fox News located him very easily. Like the old saying goes, you can run, but you can't hide. The fact that he would document what he was doing to me, and he has screenshots he made of everything he was doing to me to try and rub it in my face. He thought he was untraceable, but he's very traceable. It was huge. I had to go to eBay Trust and Safety and meet them one-on-one with all the paperwork and explain what was going on, what this guy was doing. He was already banned from eBay for life. He is now also banned from any eBay events and that kind of thing. But it went beyond eBay. He was attacking me on YouTube, on his channels. He was insane, making up news stories about me. Fox News in Michigan learned of this individual and followed him for a week undercover and watched him doing what he does. And after about a week or 2 weeks, they confronted him live in a parking lot in Michigan. And you should have seen him waddle away from the camera. It was something to see. They aired that news story and it went viral. It was picked up by so many news agencies, including the London Daily Mail. Do you think that slowed the stalker down in any way? No. He continued to harass me and actually went through the trouble of filing a fake PPO order of protection against me. I live in New Jersey, he lives in Michigan, and he lied on it. It went to court and he lost. Fox News did a second story on him losing in court. It was insane. The guy's sick. I am going to put 2 links in the description box of the actual Fox News stories that were uploaded to YouTube. Number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is the first story, number 2 is the courtroom scene. I urge all you guys who do not know about this to view these videos when you get a chance. And also feel free to comment on them below. So David, I hope that answers your question on that. That being said, let's get into some new topics for the week. We're firstly going to talk about improvements to the Seller Hub. For those of you who haven't noticed it, when you go into your Seller Hub now, you will see the following changes. On items that have just sold, you will see a ship by date. It will tell you when you have to ship the item by in order to stay in line with your shipping practices. For instance, I ship next day. So today's the 16th. I had some stuff that sold this morning and it showed I don't have to ship them till Monday because they don't count Saturday, but I'm going to ship them tomorrow anyway. The second thing is when you click on See All Orders, they now show you a thumbnail of the item you sold, which I found is also very helpful. And if a buyer leaves you a note with his purchase, it's displayed prominently. You don't have to go hunting and searching for it. The only negative thing I've noticed is on when you click See All Orders, everything you sold, on the right side they used to have quantity remaining. They no longer have that. But aside from that, all the changes are good. Sales this week were phenomenal. Oh my God, what a good week this was, guys. A lot of expensive items sold, and bang, 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 the stuff just kept selling. It was a super week, and I hope you guys also enjoyed similar success. I was reading in one of the Facebook groups where some people were complaining that they're doing very poorly, which I thought was weird. Guys, could you tell me, did you have a basically good sales week or a basically slow one? Please comment that below. Something I never talk about, Amazon, okay? I rarely buy anything on Amazon, but I did have to buy a t-shirt this week. I was in one of my Facebook groups that are selling t-shirts to support the group, and they had a link to the shirt on Amazon. So I clicked it. There's the shirt that I want. So I clicked on quantity 1, and I want to pay for the shirt. And instead of taking me right to the checkout, first it bombards me with other items I may want to buy, which I don't want to buy. And it's showing my purchase history 4 years ago, some items I bought on Amazon 4 years ago. So I had to navigate around that. I go to check out, and there's various shippings listed. And Amazon is trying to force me into something called Amazon Prime. They want me to take this free trial of Amazon Prime for 1 month. And then they want to charge my account $99 a year to be member of Amazon Prime. I do not spend $99 for an entire year on Amazon. They can stick their Prime. But yet it's checked. And I had a heck of a time unchecking it. Every time I tried to check out, it had that feature checked off that I wanted to be in this Amazon Prime crap. I had to keep going back to square one. Finally, I was able to uncheck it and buy my simple t-shirt. Amazon, in my opinion, is hungry and thirsty and seems to be getting a reputation for being that way. If any of you guys have experienced this, feel free to comment below. I don't usually talk about Amazon, but since it was a first-hand experience, I figured I'd mention it to you. Another topic which I alluded to earlier is feedback, eBay feedback. How long, guys, do you think is a good time for an eBay buyer or seller to be able to leave feedback? Because eBay is pushing for 30-day returns, which is the industry standard, I think 30 days is sufficient. You longtime members will remember years ago when eBay used to allow feedback up to 90 days, which was just too long. Then they lowered it to 60 days, and guys, that's too long. That's way too long. When you get your item, you know within a day or two whether there's going to be a problem or not. I think 30 days is plenty time to leave feedback, all right? I accept returns, no questions asked, for 30 days. I think feedback should be consistent with that. Even for you guys who only accept returns for 14 days, I still think 30 days for feedback should be the industry standard, all right? I know a lot of you guys do not accept returns at all, and that's your business. I'm not telling you what to do. I accept returns for 30 days. I'm a top-rated plus seller because, guys, even if you don't accept returns, you know that a buyer on eBay can force you to take a return. Let's be frank here, okay? Basically, that's it. I don't want to run too long on today's video. Please comment on any of the topics that I've covered, or if you have a particular question or comment you want me to cover next week, comment on that. The important thing to remember, guys, hopefully you agree with me on a lot of the things I've covered. Maybe you don't. You're free to say what you want. I make these videos to try and help you. I am a seller friend, not a seller critic or a skeptic of any kind. If you find my videos helpful, please leave me a thumbs up. I love to see when you guys find my videos helpful. If you have an issue with any of the topics I covered or any other problems on eBay, comment them below. I'll be more than happy to address them next week, as you see I do. I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next week right here on the Crazy New York Driver Show. Hopefully we'll have a sunny day, but don't count on it. Rock on and peace! Yeah! Oh yeah!